this physical experience. And the reason we're here in these particular classes or sessions, or as Auntie Shaky appropriately said one day, conversations, is because as we remember who we are through these conversations, we can do this thing called life better, happier, healthier, easier, with more fun and excitement. And even the things that feel hard, or moments of, trouble, or, challenge, or whatever else it is, even those are different. Even those are different. Um, so we talk about so many things, and we use so many examples, videos, stories, books. We talk about science. We've done science in here. We've done all kind of things, just talking about the same thing through different avenues. But all of that is just to remind us of the same thing, and of one thing: who we really are, right? Who we really, really are. We have believed ourselves to be an expression, but not the creator. We believed ourselves to be separate as an expression from the creator. And both of those things, have been the impetus under which we have found ourselves out of the Garden of Eden, looking in, so to speak, right? Uh, and as we remember who we are, we're almost like the prodigal son, the prodigal child, right? We come back, to the awareness of who we really are, and our lives are restored, so to speak, right? As our awareness is restored, our experience, um, the glory that we had in the world before it was, we experience again, we feel again. So, um, just talking about this on a regular, everyday, street level is important, um, because I don't want us to lose sight. I always want us to remember why we're doing this. It's not to have another club. It's not to join another group. It's not for that. It is for us to be able to enjoy this experience we call life, right? So as a result of that, having so many conversations, with so many different people, and listening and reading and all those different things, as we awaken and we mature, we come to certain understandings, certain awareness as it grows and expands. We start to understand things better. So I was talking to a particular person, uh, Mr. Webster, here the other day, and he said some really good things that I think are we're going to start off with today, that are really that's an important thing to remember, and um, to remember. I think it gives us context, and it keeps us grounded, so that we don't think we're here doing something else, right? That we're actually here talking about ourselves, about this physical experience, and how to have the experience we want, because we know who we are, right? So I will, without further ado, let him get started, because I think him starting it off will be a good segue into the other stuff that we get into today. And we'll see where it takes us today. But I think what he has to say today is going to be a really good start. And we'll see where we want to go from there after that. So without further ado, Mr. Webster, sir, I'll let you take it away.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Because I have had a time today, in my experience, as I would say. Um, I am as I'm as I am reminded of who I am, really, I realized that there was a battle that I was really, really dealing with, and it was the battle of the other consciousness, the one I c- that I enabled to think that it was the creator. Um, and so what I realized even today, so this morning I was getting up and going for my own walk, and I was definitely in my I amness, and I was listening, and I heard the word ask. Ask for what you want. Ask for what you will today, and it'll be done today. And so I asked. And then there was this other voice that said, but what about tomorrow? What about tomorrow? I said, at first I was about to answer it. And I said, wait, wait, wait. Who are you to give me counsel? Who are you that thinks the created to talk to the creator, to give advice based on what you think you know. And I realized that mind I had to shut that mind off. I had to shut that thing down again. I already had told it, your data's bad. Your mind is full of everything that doesn't make sense. You think you're trying to protect me. You think you're trying to own me. You think you're trying to guide me. But you're really just afraid of the losing of the control. You're afraid of what now I know I am, as I've always been. Now you're saying, oh, well, let me see if I can help. So then while I'm on my walk, I said, you can't even see the future. You can't even see the beginning from the end the way that I am, the way that I can. You don't even know what's happening in the next moment. And I know more than that. So you cannot give me counsel. You are useless. You are bad data. As I said before, format yourself. We are wiping the slate clean. You have no dominion. You have no power. You have nothing here. All you do is record the things that I see my father doing. You record them and record them as real. And in the next moment, all I heard was, I'm sorry. I will shut up. I thought I could help, and I realized I can't. And it just really brought clarity to just that there's this brain of mine that wants to think that it can help, but it's really just it's the data I've given it that it's trying to protect me from becoming my full self, the self that I know to be the one that was in the beginning. When the earth was formed and void, I was there. When he said, let there be light, I was there. That when before he formed me in the womb, he knew me, appointed and approved me. I was telling Shaky yesterday, I realized that I am no accident. I'm not a happenstance of the right sperm hitting the egg. When he said, let there be Walter, it didn't matter which one worked. I was going to be. And so now I'm just reveling in that place of saying, I am not this physical experience. I am seated in heavenly places. I am at the right hand of the Father. I am all things. And I can't allow this physical experience, like we just read, say to say that this world is real is to deny that all things are possible to God. And that's all I got right now.
And one more thing, like we talked about yesterday, explaining when all of us are just using words that we all hear or that we use. Here we use them differently. We know what they really mean. We put context to them, but just using the words that we hear every day. So when we talk about manifesting, one of the things is when we desire something, the first question is always how, right? I want to be a millionaire. How? I want to be healthy. How? So when you and I were talking about how and your concept or your perspective on how, will you please?
Yeah. So how has always been how was very important to me. How was how was easy to me. That's the best way to put it. I knew how to do everything. I knew how to get a job. I knew how to put my resume together. I knew how to be a God unto myself. Like I could have worshiped me in the how because I had it down to a science. But the how was exhausting. The how I couldn't keep up. Um, I share with Coach. I knew the how so well. I had 5 jobs all at the same time, full time, not 5 part time, not 3 part time, 5 full time jobs, working 3 in the day, 2 at night, and getting a D in my marriage because Shaky would give me a D, ask me how she wanted to grade me for the week, and it was exhausting. So the how had limits. The how was just not real. It wasn't good enough. And so I understood the how, and now that I am, the how can't be how I don't I feel like the how can't be how I operate. It's impossible for me to operate that way. So
Because one of the things I remember you saying was that, and that kind of what you said, and I kind of extended it to my own understanding, was like the problem with how is that because we're so good at it, we immediately revert to it. So
Yes.
when we say, I want to be a millionaire, our mind goes how? And if it doesn't have an answer, then we just quit or it dies. If it does
Hmm.
have an answer, it goes back to the thing it's done before. Even if that thing done before got us into the situation we're in now. How
Yes.
can cost us our marriage? How can cost us our health? How can cost us any relationship? How can cost us whatever it may cost us? So when we decide to do the next thing and we go right back to the way we did it last time, that's the only how our brain has access to, because our
Hmm.
brain is a historian. It's not a fortune teller. It
Not.
doesn't have a new way of doing something, right? So it's going to go back to doing it the way it did before, even if it didn't work. But that's all it has to offer, right?
That's all it has.
Right.
I can give you the tools. I can tell you the science. I can't tell you that it's gonna make you happy.
Right. So, like you said, so your brain will get you out there and be like, well, I just told you I had the answer. I didn't tell you what's going to happen after that.
Yep.
I didn't tell you what it was going to cost you. I
Mm.
didn't tell you, it's like, and it's just like, well, wait, well, then why didn't you tell me at least tell me that? Like, hey, I got the answer, but I don't know anything else after that. Man, you couldn't tell me that, right?
Yeah.
Like your brain will tell you just enough for you to do it and not realize that that's not enough after you've done it.
Yeah. Like we said on the call, I got the job, got job number 5, and had a terrible boss. It didn't warn me about that.
Right. Right. And so that is what we're talking about here, is that we have two kind of like you said, we have two sets of consciousness. We have our human carnal mind, right? That is what I call the employee. That thing does not do anything but manage what we have given it.
Hmm.
It doesn't create anything, it doesn't own anything, it doesn't know anything but what we tell it, how we tell it, why we tell it, and all that other stuff. And that's why it really is as limited. It is as limited as its experience.
Yeah.
It is as limited as the information it has. So
Yeah.
basically, its experience and the experience we give it and the information we give it is all that it knows. So when we quote unquote don't know, it doesn't know either,
Yeah.
right? So now it's the blind leading the blind.
Yeah. We have that saying that AI is only as good as the data that it's been given.
Mhm.
And that's why they have the disclaimer, it can hallucinate. I, in this mind, can hallucinate. And it's real. And
Mhm.
it'll give me bad data and it'll play out every scenario to help me and to think that I gotta figure it out.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh, this might be the right answer. It's all bad data.
Right? So we have that human carnal mind. Then we have our I amness. We have our higher mind. We have our true nature mind, right? So, and that is omniscient. It knows everything. That's the one that allows our yoke to be easy and our burden to be light, because nothing is a challenge to the one who has all the answers. There is
Hmm.
no problem if you have all the answers. There
Yeah.
is no issue if you have all ability. There is nowhere you can go that I am is not.
Hmm.
All the answers and all the ability, right?
Yeah.
And when we have come into this human experience and have basically wiped our memory, basically became amnesiacs, right? Believing that we are Ronette, or we believe we are Karen or Lucky or Walter. We believe that we are just this human flesh and blood, bones thing. We are basically only accessing, let's just say, what is it, 10%, right?
Hmm.
We're accessing 10%, and we're trying to live 100% of our lives on 10%. I mean, that's literally like trying to buy $100 thing with $10.
Yeah.
It's like, how much of this thing do you think you're going to experience, or you're going to get? How wonderful is this thing going to be? Only 10% of it. I mean, that's like buying a hamburger and only getting one bite, right?
Yeah.
That's like buying a pair of shoes and only getting the shoelaces. That's like, I mean, we're getting a fraction of the experience we should be getting, because we're using the wrong faculty. We're using the wrong part of our experience to govern, to guide, to believe in, to pray to, right?
Hmm.
Like we don't mean to do all these things, and we don't really realize we're doing them all, but we are still doing them.
Yep.
We're doing it. And when we look around at our lives and our lives are so hard or uncomfortable or difficult or challenging, the way we describe our circumstances, you realize, well, if we are describing something that way, which one of these awarenesses is speaking at the moment? Which one actually, right? It can only be the human one that's describing things as a challenge or
Yep.
something too hard or something we can't figure out or telling ourselves we don't know or we don't understand. Only our humanity can say that because that's true. It doesn't know. It doesn't understand. It can't figure out. It has no answer. But
Yeah.
our I amness has all the answers, right? But we have been trained and conditioned and accustomed to using the incorrect faculty. Our humanity is not limited. It's just only responsible for certain things. It's
Hmm.
not limited. It is 100% capable of its responsibility. But that responsibility is only a certain percentage. We're trying to make it more than what it is.
Yeah.
We're trying to stretch it out right into other aspects, right? And like you said, it'll get you the job, but it won't tell you what it's going to cost you, who
Yeah.
you're going to meet, what you're going to run into. It's not going to tell you what the economy is going to be. It's not going to tell you all the other things that this thing cost you, right?
Hmm.
Our humanity is almost like a child going to the grocery store. You can buy and pick out all your favorite foods, but it doesn't mean that they're actually all going to go together. So you can just imagine you go to the store and it's like, okay, I'm gonna buy some pickles, then I'm gonna buy a lemon, then I'm gonna buy some wheatgrass, then I'm gonna buy some pretzels, then I'm gonna buy some Doritos, and then I'm gonna buy some milk. Now, each one of those things you can justify because individually you like them all.
Hmm.
Go home and try to put that together to make a meal. What exactly is that gonna be?
Diarrhea.
I mean, it's gonna be seriously, or you're gonna after you spend all that money, you're still gonna say, I don't have anything to eat.
Yeah.
None of this is actually workable together.
Mhm.
But individually, we can justify each one of those items that we put into our cart, right?
Yep.
And our brain is like that. Our brain is like instant gratification. It's instant gratification. It is like me, right now, right now, right now. And so we justify because, oh yeah, well, I like ice cream. Yeah, I like pickles. Yeah, I like a lemon. Yeah, but you're investing in all these things that don't add up to anything. They don't
Yeah.
add up at the end to accept a stomachache or accept to still feel, um, bereft of your desired end.
Yeah.
Right? You still feel like, what now? But you're $60 lighter, right?
Yeah.
You you've worked all day and your head hurts and your fingers hurt from typing and answering emails and this, but you still feel unsatisfied,
Yeah.
unfulfilled because that faculty does not work all things together for good. Right? When we're mature shoppers, we work all of our purchases together for good, right?
Yeah.
So they become a meal. Even
Mhm.
snacks are good, right?
Right.
They're the side person of the meal. They're the
Yeah.
side snack of the meal, right? Even those are worked together for our good when we
Hmm.
our I amness, our awareness of mind, right?
Yeah.
So it is important for us to understand those two distinct, kind of like Walter said, consciousnesses, those two distinct awarenesses and what levels they're operating on, who's in control of what, right?
Hmm.
And talking about that, our brain basically is, like I said, is like the manager of our experience. It doesn't create anything, it doesn't control anything, it just uses what you gave it
Yeah.
and what you're giving it. It uses what it has or what it's had. It
Hmm.
does not have any purchasing power to dictate the future, to say
Yeah.
what's going to be later on today, tomorrow, or even 5 minutes from now. It has
Right.
no access to that, right? So
Mhm.
when I'll say it this way, we are choosing to be a new creature, right? When we're choosing to say, I'm going to be this now. When we allow like Walter said, our brain to start talking, it starts saying, well, yeah, well, what about this? Well, what do you mean? Well, what are you know your credit's not good. You know you didn't go to college. You know so and so don't even like you. You tried that before. Right? That brain is just attempting to keep you as you are because that is safe to your brain. That is safe to your carnal mind. The identity is currently holding. It doesn't
Yeah.
care what that identity is. If it's success, it wants to stay that way. If it's
Mhm.
failure, it wants to stay that way. It wants to stay that way. It doesn't care what it or that way is. That's not its problem. That is life to your brain. What is happening now? Because it doesn't have access to omniscience. It doesn't have access to the creative mechanism, right?
Mhm.
Your I amness, that's the creator,
Yeah.
right? The brain is the created. It is the physical expression of the creator. So it has to wait until it's created. So just like it has to wait till it's created, it has to wait till everything else is created as well. So if it doesn't see it, it will say it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So if it has never seen you as successful, it will say success doesn't exist for you. Success is impossible for you. Success is not for you, right? Where if it does, it'll replay and say, oh yeah, I remember when you did this, or I remember when you do that. So that's why proof is so important to us in our
Yeah.
human, right? Because it's evidence that it has been done before. So it's easy for it to recall it.
Yeah. That's what the transformed mind, right after that, it says be renewed, be renewed by the power of your mind, so that you can be the proof of God, of the I am's perfect and good will for your life.
Mhm.
Be proof.
Mhm.
And it's like, that's what that transformed mind is for. So that to show the evidence of the thing that you already knew to be true.
Mhm. Justin, I see you. Hold on a second. I said last week, if you guys remember, I said, your gift will make room for you and set you before kings. I believe I said that last week, right? Your gift will make room for you and set you before kings. What is the question? What's the question you should be asking yourself? If your gift will make room for you and set you before kings, what's the question you should be asking yourself?
What is my gift?
Okay.
Who's the king?
Who is the king?
Yeah.
Okay. One more. Anybody else?
I believe it was, what's the one thing I'm good at that nobody else can do?
Yeah. Yeah. So if that's the question, what's the question to that?
Be me.
Say it again.
I said be me. No
Be-
one else can do that.
Yes. Okay. So what's the question?
Oh, you said what is the one
Who
thing
am
that
I?
you can do that no one else can do?
Yes.
Who
Just
am I?
basically, who is the gift?
Right.
Your
I
gift
am.
will
I
make
am.
room for you and set you before kings. The question should be to yourself, well, who is the gift? Who is it? You are the gift. You
Yes.
don't have a gift that you are not. Because who made the gift? Who made the gift?
And that's why I have my hand raised, coach, because I really got something to piggyback off of that.
Yes, go for it.
All right. So long story short, my wife and I, we just celebrated 10 years of marriage. Huge accomplishment, right? Making it through 10 years with this crazy Puerto Rican girl. You got a Puerto Rican girl, you know how crazy they can get, right? So but thank you, Susan. But it's like been one of the most weirdest years in the sense of like getting tested from every direction. But like the message I kept on getting was exactly what you said. Like, remember who you are, remember the gift that's inside of you, and remember who put the gift inside of you. Because it's like been like one thing after another. I'm not a victim anymore. I don't blame anybody because I created this reality. I could create something different. You introduced us to that book a long time ago, right? I am, I create, I think it was. So it's a lot of these principles I hold on to, coach, but it's also been like, like one thing after another, things outside of our control, things that no matter how much we meditate, affirm, we can't change the situation. But understanding that you can only change yourself. Saying all that to say this and lay the framework and foundation for, I haven't been on every single call, but I've been watching them on YouTube. And I remember somebody was saying, I don't know who exactly said it, but they were saying, I was faced with a situation and I needed an answer on how to figure this thing out. And it came to me out of nowhere, and it was like, I think somebody had a daycare, and they were like, send, parents, stuff for summer camp. And it's like, well, it's not summer camp. Why would they sign up for summer camp? And it was like, it was just something deep that I learned within that understanding that, like, the gift is inside of me, and my gift puts me in Fort Kings. That way, therefore, like, I should never run out of money because I always have something to offer. So it's always like, just create offers, because I have the kings that I'm placed in front of, so to speak, right? And, long story short, right, like, our engine blew, car was in the shop, a million times this year. And it was like, we should have just got a new car, right? But, long story short, it's like, you know, um, you know, Cynthia, she's been doing good in real estate. She closed a deal a couple months ago, and it was like, you know, that our taxes, like, everything has just been like on delay mode for some reason. And it's like, I don't speak that, I don't claim that, I don't, profess that. It's just, it is what it is. Like, it's just weird. It's been a very weird season. And, I remember, like, having this stress come upon me, feeling like, man, like, this is not where I want to be. Like, there's all these things coming at me. But then it would just be like this moment of enlightenment, like, oh, I could do this. I could do that. Oh, sorry. Sorry, hold on. Let me fix my camera. My bad. Y'all can still hear me?
Yes.
All right. So yeah, it was like just this moment of enlightenment, like, there's no reason to stress. Like, I know who I am. And it's just been like that, I guess, confidence in knowing who I am and knowing who's in me that has gotten me through a lot of these stressful moments, and also has made my way out, right? Like, there's been times where I've needed things where it's like, how am I going to come up with this? Like, I have no idea. But then, like, I would take a walk where I would just, pray and, meditate on, praying scientifically, right? Like Joseph Murphy always says, right? Like, just, reminding yourself who you are and whose you are, and who's living inside of you, and, the healing power of the infinite intelligence that lives inside of us. And, like, Coach Lucky, I don't know, man. Like, there's been so much, man. And it's just like, there's always been a way out through the infinite intelligence that lives inside of me, because I know who I am. And that's like the only testimony I have, is just like, I don't know. I seen this email and I'm like, Saturday call at this time? Like, yeah, right. Like, this is crazy. What is going on? Like, so I'm like, yeah, I'm just hopping on. But like, it's just so needed in just the weirdest way, because it's like, I learned from Vero a long time ago, like, you never speak things over yourself, right? Especially like, oh, I'm doing good, bad things happen. No, I don't believe that anymore. But I do believe that, like, during challenging times, is the only thing to do is to just press into looking into the mirror and being very direct into understanding what you're dealing with. And what you're dealing with is yourself, right? And the only thing I can change is me. I can't change my wife. I can't change the circumstances. I can't. But I also have this acknowledgement of who I am and the gift that's inside of me, and the gift that has put me before people way more successful than me. That, like, I was trying to explain to my wife, like one of my clients, like, he's very blunt. He's very direct. He's the best in the industry. And, he's a mortgage lender. He's the best at what he does, 30 years in the business, top of, not just in the city, but in the state. And for some reason, like when I give this guy ideas and I share things with him, it's like he humbles himself to a point where like, oh, I didn't know that before, or why don't we do that then? And it's like, sometimes I think like, who am I? But then that's where it's like, no, I remember who I am, and that's the gift that God put inside of me, and that's the type of target audience who He's put me in front of, and it's just because of that, and like just some of these foundational things that you've done throughout the years that you may think like you just rambling and screaming, on Saturdays, but like it truly has made an impact because some of these books that you've shared, like they've been a foundation in my spiritual walk, and it's like even like that book I just shared, like I Am I Create, right? Like it's like those, there's like very foundational principles that like I will never forget, and it's just like I appreciate you for that. And it's like I've been longing for, a call, and it's like it's just weird how like I thought one was coming this morning. Maybe there was one or something. I don't know. Maybe I missed it, but it was like it came just now, and it was like right on time. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna hop on this joint, man. Like, but hi community, shout out to everybody. I know everybody's on here for a reason. I know everybody taps in, but Coach Lucky, we go way back, and you and Vero have no idea how much you guys impacted us. You see how big Jeremiah is now, and it's like, he graduated from preschool, he's going into kindergarten, and it's like, regardless of what's going on, like we brought a beautiful boy into this world, and it's like, that's what's important is him being raised up in the ways of the Lord and him knowing who he is at a young age. And like, I may not get it right in my years on this life, even though I know I will, but I know that he will do greater, if that makes sense. Not like speaking down on myself, but just kind of like Jesus said, right? Like, you guys will do greater things than I will do. And I know that about my son for sure. Like, he will do greater things than I will ever do because he knows from this age who he is, and I mean, I don't want to keep rambling and take up your time, and I don't even know what this call is. I appreciate being able to be on it and just kind of rant a little bit because it's much needed. So that's all I got.
Yes, sir. Well, wonderful. This call, and I'm going to say something real quick, and then I'm going to open back up because sometimes you have plans and then you realize things need to be a different way, right? And today, I think it's a good day for all of us to be able to come together and reason. Like Walter said yesterday, come together and magnify the Lord, right? To be able to magnify our awareness and be able to see, be able to hear from each other and see ourselves in other people's statements, stories, right? Be able to say, oh, that's what I was thinking. That's why I was thinking it. To be able to come together, right? And fellowship with like saints, right? People of like minds, and come together because we are all walking the same walk at different paces. And, some of us are up here and back there. I mean, some started a little bit earlier, some started a little bit after, but we're all on the same road. And we're all sitting and say, hey, do you see that? Do you look at that? Hey, watch out for that tree, man. Duck, when you get around the corner, duck, because there's a tree right there, right? A little tree limb, you don't want to hit your head, right? Today is a good day for all of us to come together and reason, to magnify the Lord, to be able to fellowship with like saints. I think you singularly gave us the definition of gift. The definition of gift is I always have something to offer, right? The gift is I always have something to offer. Why? Because the something you have to offer is yourself. All you have to offer in this world is you. That's all you have to offer is you. That's it. In the beginning, I am. I am created the heavens and the earth. So what does I am have to offer the heavens and the earth but itself? There was no one else for it to offer. There's nothing else for it to offer but itself. Even if it offered the sun, well, it created the sun so the sun is just an expression of itself, right? So it's still offering itself just through a proxy, through a funnel, right? But it still represents you, right? So it's like it's like it's like Jeremiah gets older. He's 17. He's like, Dad, I want somebody to go to the movies. And you're like, son, I'm not home. So you call up your boy who's around the corner from the movies, like, hey, Jeremiah's gonna stop through there. Just give him $20 for me and I'll give it back to you. Well, you used your boy to get Jeremiah some money. later on, right? You use
Mhm.
it as a proxy. You use your resource as the source to get something to your son, right? So it's still a
Mm.
representation, it's still a reflection of you, because that man would have never given your son that money if he didn't know you, right?
If
So
you know you.
that person is the source of the resource. It is you using something you know to be able to get something to someone or somewhere, right? So that all you have to
Mm.
offer in this world is you. So when I say to you all, your gift will make room for you and set you before kings, and I said, well, what is the question? The question is, who is the gift? The answer is, you are the gift. You are the gift. You are you. What you think is your gift is you just expressing yourself through this thing. And it is you knowing who you are. So I decided I am this as I am. Now, to physically express what I've decided I am in this moment, I created a thing called Justin. Well, in another moment, I created another thing called Sparkle Bailey. It's still one thing, but when it believes itself to be something else, it creates a different physical expression. Think about it like one sun and the rays that come out of the sun. All the rays are individualized, but they're still coming only out of one source, out of one thing. So even though they may look different, they may be coming from a different angle, they're still coming from one central soul source or point, right? So you are the gift. You are actually the gift that sets you before kings. It's you that goes before kings as I am. So it is you that is walking in every room you want to walk in and every level you want to walk on as the self of you. Being the self of you is always more than enough. That is why you can tell someone who, quote unquote, has done more, they will still listen to you because in this area, you're further ahead. In this area, you are being the you that they cannot be. You have access to an awareness, to an understanding that they don't have because they're not that physical reflection. That's what Justin is for. That's what the other guy is for. That is the expression of I am in that direction. You can't be him, he can't be you. So that's why being yourself is not only all you have to offer, or the only thing you have to offer, but that is not a limited thing. That's because it's the only thing necessary is you. You're the only thing necessary. You are whole and complete. That's why it says, be you perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. Being perfect just means it's not an attempt. It's not something to buy, chase, or earn. It's something to allow. It is something to consider yourself, to accept as yourself. Perfect means compound word. It means to do or make whole and complete. You are whole and complete as you are. Just like Walter earlier said, before I was fearfully and wonderfully made. Before I was made, I was called. I was called by name, right? So, like he said, we're not accidents. We didn't get here crawling out of the butt of a lizard, right? We didn't come out of a swamp somewhere. That is not who we are and what we are. And to your point, when we keep looking in the mirror and saying, yes, I am that I am. I am all things. I am all that is. I am all there is, right? And therefore, whatever I say goes because I know who I am. So when I look at this external circumstance, to your point again, there is nothing to change but self. But by changing myself, I change my circumstance because my circumstances are nothing but the physical expression of me. I either created them or that is how I perceive them. My identity is either what created it or it's how I perceive it. Right. And so when I know who I am, I can either recreate it or I can change my perception of it. No, that doesn't bother me. Right. There's homeless people all around. Just because we see it doesn't mean we identify ourselves as that. Just because somebody else is, or because somebody else's business doesn't work, doesn't mean we perceive ourselves as that. But it's our identity that is filtering in the outside world and telling us what it means. Right? It's saying, oh, well, this is happening. So to you, it means this. That same thing to someone else means that. Right? So coming together here and reasoning, remembering who we are, talking about our experiences are wonderful ways to be able to see where we are, right? In our awareness of being, right? And this is almost like almost like when you bring your car in for service. It doesn't have to break down to do that, but a lot of times you do it so it doesn't break down. You do it beforehand.
Preventative maintenance, right?
Preventative maintenance, right? Because what did it say? A wise man does immediately what a fool does eventually. Right? You're gonna take it into service. You can take it into service singing or take it into service with it smoking, right? With the tailpipe dragging, the thing on fire.
God, that's what we did, Coach. We took it in smoking, and that joint was no saving.
Right? So
Stay with us though, right? Like it could be too late. We did too much damage.
Right. So we have to be, so these sometimes calls like this, the way we're doing the call today at a different time for a different reason, because I had to do something with my daughter this morning. So But I didn't want to not have the call. So I just moved it to later on, and whoever can come, great. But I do this because I love it. I do this because this is what makes me feel the way I want to feel. This is an expression of my awareness of being, right? So I'm like, well, shoot, we got to figure out another time, another way, right? But that is what happens when you, like Dr. Joseph Murphy says, you speak over yourself, right? I'm in my right place doing what I love to do, divinely happy, divinely prosperous, divinely successful, right? I'm in my right place doing what I love to do. And you tell yourself these things, right? Because whatever you tell yourself is true, right? So these are just wonderful. All of us being able to come on and talk and share our experiences really helps us see ourselves in each other and helps us see like, oh, that's how they dealt with that. Oh, wow. But that was pretty cool. I never would have thought about it that way. Because coming together and sharing our experiences are wonderful things, right? So wonderful, man. Definitely good.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks for hearing me out. Let me have the mic for a few minutes, and I hope the whole community, anybody else that was listening, I hope they got some out of it. And I appreciate you, Vero. Still having me on the email list. Because I'm like, yeah, I need this joint. Let me hop on. So appreciate you, Coach, as always.
Glad you're here, everyone. Glad you're here. Okay, what's next? Let's talk about it. Aren't you guys tired of hearing from me? Aren't you tired of hearing my voice every week? This is your shot. This is your 5 minutes of fame. Like American Idol, you better take your shot. It's like the NCAA tournament. It's one shining moment. You got to get it while you can.
They don't want to hear me again. I'll keep rambling. Say no.
Mark,
Hey, Coach Lucky.
yeah, what do you want?
I have a friend of mine who's on the call,
Yeah.
and she's going to deliver my goddaughter next week.
Nice.
And what is the significance of, I don't know, bringing new life and new beginnings and things like that? I don't know.
What is the significance?
No, it's not a real question, but congratulations in advance
Yes.
to her.
Yeah. So if I were to have another child now, if I were to have another child today, or now, right, compared to when I did 15 years ago, my whole concept of my whole concept of that is just different now, right? I don't mean more effort or less effort, but my awareness of actually what that represents. Everything in this physical experience is just an experience. So if I were to be a parent, if I realize I'm going to be a parent again, I'm like, okay, being a parent is an experience. What type of experience, what type of relationship do I want to have with the experience called parenting? What do I think a parent is? What do I think a parent does? What type of experience do I want to have in this area called parent? Right? I get to, because of who we are, we get to choose our experiences. When we know who we are, we know there is no one else to choose. So we get to choose, like, what do I want my experience as a parent to be? Do I want to know everything I need to know and what to do about it? What type of experience called parent do I want to have? Because if you were to call parent, if I said, Alexis, call parent, who would that be?
It would be different for me than you.
Right. Like, who is parent? Who is that? It's not a particular, it's a title, right? So that means if it's a title, then what makes that title experiential is a living being that comes in to animate it. And the living being that comes in to animate that title called parent is experiencing the thing called parenting as itself. I'm walking into this thing and I light it up, I animate it. So parenting is just me in this area called parenting. I'm having the experience of myself in the area called parenting. So I get to choose, who do I want to be in this area? Right? So I'll say this and give you an example. So there's certain things I say to my daughter, her mother and I say to her, certain standards, certain things that we say, right? That she knows, like there's certain standards that we have. Then there's things that I just want in my experience. I don't care what she wants. I don't care what her mother wants. I don't care what her grandmother, I don't care what anybody else wants. I know what I want to see coming back for the effort that I put in, I want what I want my experience to be, right? So I say things to myself like, okay, my daughter's a straight A student. She's she's the best student in her class, in her grade, in her school, right? I'm not talking about against any other kid. I'm not talking about any other kid. I'm not telling her that. I'm not telling anyone else that. I'm only talking to me. I am breathing life into my situation. I am declaring and decreeing the end. I'm saying I am, as Auntie Shake and I talk about, I'm throwing this ball against the wall because I know it's going to come back as I threw it, right? So these are things that I say to myself because I'm saying this is what I want to see in my experience. You and I may be riding in the car together, but I can't see through your eyes and you can't see through mine. So I don't know what you're experiencing. I'm only assuming what you're experiencing because of what I'm experiencing. I'm like, hey, did you see that? And you're like, see what? Well, how come I saw it and you didn't see it? Because even though we're right next to each other, we're still in our own individualized experiences, right? So I say to myself things like that. Well, at this year, she got best ninth grader for math in school, best English ninth grader in school, and she finished with a 4.07 her freshman year, right? So that's not to brag. I'm just giving you an example. But it wasn't because of what I did. Like, I didn't tell her that. That's not something I set a standard. She knows, like, hey man, if I come up here dressed a certain way, you're at school dressed a certain way. If I conduct she understands certain standards, just physical human, right? I am telling you these things, right? But I'm not telling her you have straight A's for me to be proud of you. You have to be doing things a certain way for me to be proud. And whatever comes of that physically. But in my own mind, I'm saying, what type of experience do I want to have in this area, right? As a parent, what do I want to see back? So these are some of the things I say to myself, right? And so, right, your faith will make you whole. Whatever you declare and decree in the beginning comes in the end, right? So those things, I use those examples just as things that came back. But those are things I was saying before they showed up. But I said those things because that's the experience I wanted to have for my participation. Does that make sense, right? So if I were to be a new parent today, I'm thinking like, okay, I have this concept called parenting. What do I want my experience to be in this concept? Almost like I'm going to Disneyland. I'm thinking like, what rides do I want to go on? How much money do I need to take? What time do I want to leave? What do I want to eat there? Why am I going here? Does that make sense? I want to be clear with myself about why I'm doing this thing, what I want from this thing, how I want to do this thing, what I expect from this thing, because that is what I am does. When I am said, let there be light, it knew what light was, what it meant, why it wanted it, and what it was going to get from it, right? Everything was created with a consciousness in mind. And so it focuses with that, it functions, with that consciousness. The beach is always the beach. The tide, it never turns into sand, right? The ocean is the ocean, the beach is the beach. The stars are the stars, the moon is the moon, the sun is the sun. Everything is reproduced after its own kind, right? So I decide what type of experience I want to have in this area called parenting. And if I were to do it all over again, that's how I would do it. And then that is what I maintain within me. As a result of being that, all of my movements or actions are governed and dictated by that awareness. By that awareness. It's almost like when you put on perfume or cologne. Nobody knows you sprayed it on until they walk by you, right? But it smells when you get into an environment. You smell like what you've done. Does that make sense? And so I have put on this experience. So I'm walking through the world with this experience. As a result, it is governing and guiding and dictating all of my past. It's directing my past and guiding my footsteps. My tongue is the pen of a ready writer, right? So my consciousness is guiding and governing in physical expression that which I'm aware of being. So it's not me that's doing the work, it's my Father in me. So it's the awareness of her being that in my world that dictates how I speak to her. What I do, it's not my brain that's really doing it because my brain doesn't have access to that. Right? My brain is just thinking it's doing its own thing. But my awareness is really the one running the show because its job, it's obligated to present to me in physical form what I'm aware of being internally. Right? That's what I sent out that video this morning when the girl was saying your world is your mirror. Right? I am deciding what I want to see back within me. And then that is an internal agreement I have that I don't talk to anybody about, tell anybody about. I don't ask them for their opinion. I don't care what they think. I know what I want to see. And from there, all of my, like I said, footsteps are guided, my paths are directed because that is who I'm being. And it's easy to keep who you're being when you decide what you're being and when you keep that agreement, not only within yourself, but to yourself, right? And that is how you're going to see back. So congratulations to your friend. And that is what I would do. There is a concept called parenting. It is just a state of consciousness, and you get to embody, indwell. You get to step into that state of consciousness like a house. And so now you're going to see this house as you see yourself through your eyes. You're going to see it as you are. So you want to see it as you are. So choose who you are. I'm the parent who. My parenting is like this. This is the type of experience I'm having as a parent. Does that make sense? And as a result of that, then all my footsteps are guided, my paths are directed in order for all the things necessary to be done to reflect that back to me. Does that make sense to you? All right, wonderful. Auntie Shaky, I know.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to the new mom that everything Coach Lucky said was perfect. But also think about, because he did this with me, but also think about what you want your son or daughter to how you want them to experience you. You know, I told you guys before that he had me to do a job description, and what's the job description of husband? What's the job description of son and business and all of those things? And so I would just recommend to also do something very similar as to, like, what does mom mean to you? What does child mean to you, or the job description for that? And Coach Lucky, if you, I mean, I clearly understand what that means, but if you want to give more context.
No, explain. No, explain it.
So, okay, so if you strip off, are you having a boy or a girl?
She's having a girl.
Okay, she's having a girl. Oh, awesome. Okay, so you're having a girl. So I want you to, I'm sure you have her name already, or maybe you don't. But I want you to write out a job description before she comes. I want you to write out, okay, she's smart, she's kind, and we're not talking about her. We're not talking about her. We're just talking about the job description of baby girl. Okay. What do you want to experience from her? I hope I'm saying this right, Coach Lucky. So come in at any time. But what do you want to experience from her? Do you want to have a relationship where you guys are like BFFs? Or do you want a close relationship with her? Do you want a relationship where she honors you? Like, just having all of these different things listed for your experience with her, how she deals with you and how you deal with her. I think that, and not letting up on that and only seeing that in her. Because speaking something other than that, or not doing the job description in the first place and just letting life dictate what type of relationship you're going to have with her, I don't think you want to do that. I don't think you want to do that. I don't think that you'll be as fulfilled. There's, I have a dog, and it was very important that we went and trained our dog. Okay. And during the training, they always talk about how training your pet makes it where you can have a good experience, not only you with the dog, but the dog with you. This might sound very bad about using a dog analogy with a kid, but it's very much so the same thing. Like, training your consciousness as to what you want your experience to be like with your daughter, and what you want your daughter's experience to be like with you. What that does is it makes the relationship that much better. I spent so many years in fear. I used to, before my son walked out the door, I would always have to pray over him. And if I didn't pray, if I forgot to pray over him before he left out the house, I literally was living in panic. I was living in panic, hoping that didn't anything happen to him before he got back home because I forgot to pray over him. That left for us not to have a very good relationship. It was a relationship based on fear. It was a relationship based on control. It was a relationship based on codependency. And as a new mom, you don't want that. You just want to enjoy the gift. You just want to enjoy the gift. And so that's all I wanted to share.
Well said.
And just to add on to the job descriptions are for everybody in your life.
Mhm.
You know, their siblings, the dad, your at work, your boss, your just everybody in your world gets a job description, and you decide what role they play, what their script is in your world.
And what they're trying to tell you is the reason they're saying that is because currently we have people occupying these positions, but when they don't act right, it distorts our concept of what the position should be or what it can be, how it can function or how it should function. So we start thinking husband is this or wife is that or our kids are this or jobs are this or oh these jobs ain't no good, oh it just means just over broke, and it just means like the people who have jobs and they not just over broke, like being in the NBA is a job. Steph Curry's making almost 60 million a year. I don't think he's check to check, right? It's like people start making their experience, they start defining the state based on the person who's currently occupying it. So it'll make the state small if you don't like it. It'll make it bad if you don't like it. It'll make it something it doesn't have to be. So what they're telling you is to strip away the person from the state and define what is a son to me? What is a daughter to me? What is parenting to me? What is a boss to me? What is a job to me? Defining what that experience is to you. And then you hire the best mind, the best man, the best mind for the job. You've now decided what this experience is. And as a result of you deciding what that is, the right people come in to fill that job physically based on what you've assigned mentally. This is how I see this thing. This is who I am in this area. So everything that I am, the world just mirrors back. The world is not creative. It is created. So it's not making anything up. It's only reflecting back which I am. Right? So when I am has decided what a son is, what a daughter is, what a boss is, what a husband is, what a wife is, what a friend is, what money is, what health is, then the physical expressions of those things come into your world to mirror it back to you. And when you strip the people out, it will allow you to make the best choice. Sometimes we don't make the best choice in those areas because we define the area based on the person who's currently occupying it. And it stunts it. It squashes it. Right? So strip the people out, and the people themselves will either be removed or they will be remodeled, right? Or reorganized, but they will not stay the same. Either they won't be there or they'll be different. Because first and foremost, like Justin was saying, you change. First is you have renewed your mind, so you transform all the physical expressions of your life, right? So yes, strip the people, just identify the state. What is this thing? How does it occupy? How does it work? What do I define it as? And as myself, right? And then you'll see the physical things come in to reflect what you have chosen to be. Right. Sparkle Bailey.
Hey.
Hey.
I didn't have my hand raised, Coach. I want to keep the spirits and everything up and up. I've been in my own little corner hiding out, and my body is recovering. I'm just recovering. So I'm telling myself I'm telling myself, I got this in the bag, and yeah, I've just been doing a lot of silent stuff, just kind of things that don't involve me talking too much. The back of my tongue is very swollen. I've chewed it up a lot lately, and just in my sleep, I've been having them in my sleep. It's just been a strange time the past few days. So um, I'm I'm over here appreciative of this unorthodox session, but this is cool. I'm happy to see everybody speaking life over all of us, especially me. I am. Thank you for all the energy, y'all. Y'all have a good one.
It's always good to see you here. Yes, it's always good to see you here. And like we've been talking about, remembering who we are, not only externally, meaning speaking outwardly, but what we say to ourselves in the silence of our mind, right? And what people call our inner conversations, just what we are entertaining inwardly, right? Because what we're entertaining inwardly is what we express outwardly. So just even not even affirmations or expressions externally, but just in the silence of our mind, in the quietness of our mind, just being, that's why it says be still and know. In the silence and quietness of our mind, what are we entertaining? What are we believing ourselves to be? What are we telling ourselves things are, or it is, or what this means, or whatever else it is, right? And that's why it says as above, so below, as within, so without, right? The within is what's always being expressed without, right? So yeah, but like you said, I think that's really cool. You know, like you said, just kind of being quiet, slowing down, and allowing yourself to, focus on, almost like when people get sick, they don't feel well, how a lot of times your appetite wanes, right? Because your body's saying, let me use this energy to fight this intruder off. And so I'm going to shut down the hunger, right? So I can use my energy not to have to digest, but to be able to fight something else off, right? So just reallocating our focus, our consciousness, our attention on something else, right? And so pulling back over here to inject more over here. That's a wonderful, wise thing to do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Wonderful. All right. What else we got? Yes. Auntie Shaky.
Oh, you couldn't hear me. Wait a minute. I'm switching devices.
We can't hear you. In the meantime, while you get your audio ready, we can see what. Okay, there you are.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay. So we had a great conversation yesterday in the youth circle, and I wanted to just encourage everyone on here. There was a part that I woke up saying, and I said it to Walter this morning, that and Coach Lucky or Walter, if you guys can help me out with exactly what it said, I can just kind of paraphrase it. But it said something to the effect of, if you think this is reality, don't think that you can't think that all things are possible. What's Walter, what's the line? Or you're on mute.
To see things as real is to deny all things are possible to God.
Yes. To see things as real is to deny that all things are possible to God. And I kept like mulling that concept over. I just kept mulling it over and over and over, because there's so many things inside my life that I'm like, it tries so hard to say that this thing is real. Like, this is facts. This is, listen. The fact that I don't have no edges, you know what I'm saying? My edges came out, that's a fact. The fact that my bank account is empty, that's a fact. That's reality. And when I talk to somebody about it, I'm just keeping it real. But I realize that in that keeping it real, I'm denying that all things are possible through God, because this thing isn't real. What I'm looking at, the empty, if it's an empty bank account, if it's a if it's health, if it's edges, if it's whatever it is, a particular relationship, it's not real. Oh, that's good, Walter. He said to keep it real keeps it real. I don't want this isn't real. What's happening up here in my consciousness is the only thing that is real. And that's the thing that I have to keep reminding myself, is that the only thing that is real is what I have fashioned, what I have chose, what I have walked inside of the grocery store that I own. As Coach Lucky always says, go into the grocery store that I own, and I pick that, I choose that. I don't need the whole store because I own the whole store. I don't have to get everything all at once. All I need is the few little things that I need to be able to make the meal that I want to eat right now. It's the only thing I need right now. And that's the thing that's real, what's happening up here. Everything else, not real. So I just want to encourage someone in that. And I know I know in the moment it feels so real. I know it feels so real. And it's like, well, how do I pay this bill if it ain't real? You know what I'm saying? These people asking me for money today. How you gonna tell me this ain't real? But it's not, because the answer to paying that bill exists right now. Every provision, every need that we have right now in this moment already exists. It's already at hand. It's already at hand. The only reason why we think it doesn't, because we think it doesn't. We think it takes time. We're thinking about the how. So when that verse says that if the real, I don't know why, the concept is there for me. It's just that I'm going to the, but if you're looking at everything as being reality, then the miracle can't come in. The impossible of God can't show up, because this right here is your reality. And that's all you're going to get. You're just going to get more of it. So, all right, I'm out of here.
Ronette.
Hi, everybody. Good evening.
Hey.
I have a lot going on with that I'm working on that I found out. I didn't find out. I knew already, but you can't verbalize it to people. You have to just believe it and just walk in it.
Mm-hmm.
Having these conversations, I just don't even do it anymore. Have a conversation saying, why are you talking like that? Or don't speak that over my life or whatever. People are like, well, this is reality, like you just said. You just keep it real to keep it real. So I can't have the conversations. I have after work, I'm a caregiver for my mother. It's like a lot of stuff happening at the same time. But at the same time, I'm working on me and what I want to see and what I want to know and do. So I was reading the book Coach Lucky, forgot what it's called, Law of Attraction, something from Law of Attraction. And so it has a kickstart guide that gives you day by day what to do. And it's telling you to feel it, see it, touch it, whatever your desire is, and to feel it now. And so I came to, you start searching. I came to the realization that why wait until something happens to feel that way? And so I was outside today cutting grass, and I was thinking about something that I wanted, that I desire. And why am I waiting to feel like that? What am I waiting for? So I immediately, I said to say, yesterday I said to somebody, have a great day. And they're like, how am I going to do that? I don't know. That's conversation over then. Conversation over. We don't have anything else to talk about. I didn't even respond to that. And so today I'm like, this is how I want to feel. Then what am I waiting for? That's a feeling. It's not like something I have to manufacture. It's here already. Just grab hold of it. So I know we talk on here, we start rambling because we're thinking it through at the same time. But this is where I am. And I'm working on living what I want and making plans and seeing how to activate that divine favor right now. So that's where I am. And I'm happy that I'm seeing it and I don't have to wait till something happens to feel how I want to feel. So thanks for that. Thanks for that book. Thanks for this again. I appreciate everybody here because everybody helps just with the comments and the rebuttals of everything. So thanks everybody for that.
Well, I want to ask everybody. See, when we're talking about all the stuff like what Auntie Shaker was saying, it seems that's why I'm so glad that we're having this conversation today because it's so important. We talk about so many things, but it's really important, as they say, like to bring it to brass tacks, to make sure we really understand what we're saying, why we're saying it for Tuesday, for Thursday, for, like you said, if you're taking care of your mother, if you're taking care of this, if you're taking care of your father, your brother, if you're going to work, if you're trying to figure out how to put gas in the car, like we're all having a physical experience. This is real stuff as far as what we're physically doing, right? So think about it like this. So like Auntie Shaky was saying, it's like, it feels like we're talking about some kind of, it sounds weird. It sounds like, but it's true. But just like Ronette was saying, it's like, well, you know what? I don't have to wait. I can feel the way I want to feel before the thing I'm feeling about shows up. So let me say two things. Number one, feeling. When we're talking about feeling, we're not talking about emotion. We're talking about awareness. We're talking about choosing to think from whatever it is your desire is. So you want to be healthy or you want to have more money. You start turning your attention because like Auntie Shaker was saying before, if you are so focused on what you call real right now, then what is possible to God is not possible to you because your attention is over here. You can't see the possibilities over here. So it's almost like looking this way, trying to drive that way. You're like you're trying to throw some kind of prolonged no look pass. Like you're what you're focusing on, your attention, you are your attention. As far as where your attention is, that is where the power of you is going. That's where your consciousness is focused. So it's either focused on what you call reality, which is nothing but the physical outcome of what you created in reality, because this is reality. The physical world is not reality because it's not creative. It's created. It's after the fact. It's the effect. It's not the cause. This is the cause. So if you're always looking at the cause, at the effect, and trying to define the effect, manipulate the effect, you're just going to keep recreating it because A, that's where your attention is, and B, because nothing comes new from or different from the effect. The only thing that can come new from is from the cause, from the generator, which is your consciousness. So when you turn it to a different direction, that is what you then see more of, experience more of. So when you say to yourself, oh, you know what? I don't have to wait to feel. I don't have to wait to be aware of something before I have the physical experience. So I have this phone right here, right? So we say to ourselves, okay, well, I'm only going to believe it when I see it. So then how would I see this thing without the belief in it first? Because this first was an idea. This thing first is an idea. So an idea is not something you can see, right? Externally. It's an internal vision. That's why it says, for lack of faith, for lack of vision, my people perish. Vision, not sight, right? So when you have an idea, that is a vision. And that vision of those things are internal. And within, so without. Everything comes from within, expressed without. So if you are unwilling to become aware of being, to feel, to become aware of being that which you desire, you'll never be able to physically manifest it, build it, create it. You'll never be able to produce it in physical form because this thing doesn't just show up before an idea or without an idea or instead of an idea. This is the physical representation of an idea. And this always comes before that. So what Ronette is saying is like, hey, look, if I want to create a phone, if I want to create more money, if I want to have a physical experience of something that I currently is not in my hand, like if I had to see this before I got it, how would I get it? The first person who made an iPhone, the first iPhone, how could you have it if you had to see it first? So I'm saying that to say that what she's saying is what we do in every area of life. We're just more familiar and comfortable in certain areas doing it. But everything is done that way. It's that everything you see in your physical world is first a thought. It's first non-physical. Everything you see in your physical world is the effect. Every idea, everything in your inner world is the cause. Everything was first an idea. Then that idea is made physical, right? It's the word made flesh. The flesh doesn't come before the word. The product doesn't come before the idea. So the flesh and the product are physical reflections. They are the effect of the cause, which is the idea, which is the non-physical. The non-physical creates the physical. So if you are unwilling to become aware of being rich or of being healthy, if you're, well, I got to see that first. Well, somebody's got to prove that to me first. Well, I don't know if I believe that. Okay, it's not a problem. But that's like saying, I have an idea of a phone and you have an idea. And then you say to your idea, well, I don't really know if that'll work. Well, you wouldn't have a phone. The only reason we have a phone is because somebody had an idea and they saw it through. They kept telling themselves, this is true, even though I don't see it in my hand yet. This is true. They took that as truth, and then they brought it into physical form. So then if we call this true, then what is the idea that created this truth? Is it less true? It's got to be double true, 10 times true, 100 times true. Because if we call the effect true, how can the cause be less? And if the cause was first that created the effect, and we give praise to the effect, then why do we have a problem praising the cause? And if we know the cause is idea is the thing that Ronette is talking about as far as feeling. You take an idea and you entertain it. You bring it into your house and you put your feet up together and you converse. You sip champagne, you sip grape juice, water, juice, whatever, but you entertain it. You keep it going in your mind. You identify yourself. You interact with that. You say, that is me. Right? That is me. And that is how that thing becomes physically expressed. Nothing in your physical world came before the idea. So everything you see in your physical world is an idea of someone, whether it's yours, someone else's that you accepted, or your own. But that's how all physical things are made. So when you're talking about having a physical experience different than the one you're having now, that's why it says, be you transformed by the renewing. Renew means to get a new. Right? To do again, get a different mind or do the same mind. Oh, but your physical world is nothing but the physical reflection of your mind. It's not independent of your mind. It's in service to your mind. It's the physical expression of your mind. Just like your kids don't get here without you and they don't get here before you. Well, then those physical things don't get here without you and they don't get here before you. They start with the parent. They start with the idea, with the conceiver. The conceiver is the one that brings the concept. Right? So what she's talking about, deciding that I am this thing, that feeling, now the awareness of that starts to expand. And that is how you start walking and living your life with that awareness. And that is how it comes into physical expression in your life, just like this phone did. Nobody calls this a miracle. Nobody calls this manifesting, but it is. This is a manifestation. Everything you see in your world is a manifestation because it is the physical expression of an idea, of a thought that you wouldn't stop thinking until it became physical. Everything is the same thing. Everything. So that's when Auntie Shaky was saying, well, if you're unwilling to think the thought of your desire to remain faithful to that, then you're never going to see that. And you're only going to see the physical expression of the thought you remain faithful to. Oh man, they'll never pay me. I'm always broke. It's always hard out here. That you're just going to create a physical expression that reflects that thought that you will not stop telling yourself. Now you justify it. You'll justify it with your education or lack thereof, or your boss doesn't like you, or it's raining outside, or the economy. But you're just giving yourself a reason to continue it. But when I say to somebody, hey, Auntie Shaky, you're rich. And she's like, nah, man, it's hard times right now. Well, what does she say? You already have everything. Everything's already here. So the answer I gave her was the truth. But her truth is she's not. So what she's using is the answer she said, no, it's hard out here. The answer she gave me is the reason she's using to keep herself from that experience. She's using that reason to keep herself from the experience of the truth. Whatever, when you tell yourself, when you want something, that's the truth. You already have it. That's the only reason you could desire it. Whatever reason or excuse you give yourself that takes that from you, that says you can't have it, you don't have it, you won't have it, you've never had it, whatever you're entertaining, that is what you're using to keep you from that experience. You're using it to keep you from that. You're going like this with it. That you're doing this. Your brain, your humanity's like, I want it. And you're going like this. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. I can't. But you're holding on to the thing that you can't afford. You're holding on to your desire that actually will, if you just drop into the soil, it'll produce. But you're holding on to this thing and saying, yeah, but I ain't got it. Yeah, but I ain't got it. Yeah, but I ain't got it. You're just using that's the reason that you're using to withhold it from yourself. So is that the subconscious mind? Is that the subconscious mind? Ronette, what is your question? I see you, Michelle.
So you know how hear people saying the subconscious mind versus the conscious mind. Like the subconscious is your true belief, but you really believe that's how you're living. That's your life that is being expressed. And then your brain will say, I got everything that I want. But subconscious, you don't believe you have it. I'm not rich. I'm not this. I'm whatever you don't believe, or whatever it is you believe. So that's sort of like what you're saying right now is what you truly believe is what you're going to get. And that's the subconscious mind?
Yes, because that belief, basically, think about it like a stain on a shirt. That your conscious mind is the stain. It hits the shirt. And the longer you leave it in there, it sinks into the shirt. It starts to sink into the fabric. So when you spill something and you're aware, you're like, oh, shoot, let me get this out before it sinks in, right? So your thought is like a stain. Your subconscious mind is like the fabric. So the longer you leave that thought in, that stain in, the longer you leave that thing in there, the more it sinks deeper and deeper and deeper into the fabric. So then it becomes what we call a belief or a habit. A belief is just a thought that you keep thinking. It's not a thought. It's a thought that you keep thinking. That's what makes it a belief. You keep thinking it. It's not just a thought. We have 70 to 80,000 of them a day. It's not the thought. So we don't have to be afraid of our thoughts. We have to choose wisely which one they are. All thoughts do the same thing. They create a physical version of itself. There's no good ones, bad ones, strong ones, weak ones. There's only one that we entertain or we don't. And so when that thought hits your shirt, when that stain hits your shirt, the longer you leave it in there, the more it gets into the fabric. So the harder it is to get out, generally, right? So it's that same thing. So your subconscious mind is almost like that fabric. Well, it doesn't create a stain, meaning it doesn't create the thing that hits it, but it takes in the thing that hits it. And the longer you leave it in there, the more you keep impressing that part of your mind with a thought. You keep entertaining and thinking it, it starts to say, oh, okay, this is who we believe we are, or how we believe things are, or what we believe things are. Let us start producing that. Let us start producing that in physical form. Let us start producing the effect of that, the expression of that. That's what it is. Does that make sense? Okay, wonderful. Michelle.
I mean, hello. In the scenario that described with, saying to someone, or what did you say to Auntie Shake, you're rich. And then the response is, or for me, I'm gonna use myself as an example. When people give me a compliment or they say, oh, this was great, I usually, sometimes will downplay the thing or say, yeah, it was okay. And then what Ronette was describing, you tell somebody, have a great day, and they're just like, eh. In my mind, I'm like, what should that answer be? Like, right now, when people say things and it's a compliment, I just want to say, yeah, I am. That's now my response because I know what I know now. I can't unsee, I can't unhear all the things that we're doing. But in essence, sometimes with your conscious mind, you're there, but at the same time, you don't want to seem. But is there a way to put it out there in plain, like how to live this life fully and day to day? Like it's a practice, yes. So when someone says X, it's like, yeah, I know. Am I cocky? Am I like, it's the thing, because I know I've been, I don't know who trained me to do that because no one said this to me, but it's like I downplay a lot. I go into the shadows a bit. Mm-hmm. And, so I don't know if this, whatever I'm saying makes sense, but yeah. So it's like, yeah, I am, thank you. Or just, it's a thank you and keep it pushing. I don't need to go into any more details. I know, and then that's it. Peace out.
Yes, you say whatever makes you, so two things. One, you say whatever makes you comfortable, but you always speak from your awareness of being. When only our humanity would say, oh, so let there be light. when God said, let there be light, and there's sun every single day, right? Would do you think, let's just use the old school way God would say it, the old school God that we all think. When God said, let there be light, and there's still light, and you, Michelle, were like, man, God, you said, let there be light, man, that sun is shining. You think God be like, yeah, man, it's all right. You know, it's cool. You see what I mean? Right now, it doesn't mean God be like, hell yeah, I did that. You see? No, it wouldn't necessarily be that either, right? It would just be like, hey man, thank you, I appreciate it. I'm glad that you enjoyed it, right? It's just the calmness of being. It's like, hi, what's your name? We might meet at Podcast Summit. Hi, I'm Lucky. Nice to meet you. Like, oh, hi, I'm Michelle. You're just expressing yourself. It's not hyperbolic. It's not all crazy. You're not into some kind of affirmation cycle, right? You're just like, hi, I'm Michelle. It's nice to meet you. There's just a confidence in knowing your name. There's a confidence in knowing what you do. There's a confidence in knowing what you've done, because the confidence in knowing your name and what you do and what you've done first comes from the confidence in knowing who you are. That is you. So you're like, I am. So they're like, Michelle, oh my God, the way you got our stuff out here, everybody's seeing it now. You know, your publicity skills are just on point, girl. We would have never made it this far without you. And you're like, hey man, thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm glad you guys are happy with. I'm not giving you the words, but I'm just giving you the tone, the tenor. Yeah, I did that. And I'm so glad that you guys are happy. But you're not downplaying it, meaning you are not describing it or yourself any less than what you are. But you know who you are so much, you don't have to describe it as something else either, right? You're not acting like you created the galaxy, you know, and like, yeah, you're gonna do it. No, it's just like, hi, I'm Michelle, it's nice to meet you. You enjoying your time here? It's just such a casual conversation, such a casual expression, because you are so confident and clear about your identity, who you are. Does that make sense?
Copy. Total sense.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Yes. All right. What else we got?
So then, Coach Lucky, I need deliverance, because I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna pop my shit.
But that's you. But that's you, right? That is you. That's you. What did I tell you when we talked about on the call the other day? Sell it all. Do it all. Because that's you. That's the whole thing. What did we say earlier? All you have to offer in this world is you. You are the gift. You are the thing that makes room. You are. And if you're not you, there ain't no room, and you ain't making no room, and you're not in the room, and you can just be window shopping for your whole life. Then you'll be standing outside the room wishing you were in the room, right? You'll be like, what is it, Linus? Or I don't remember which one, Charlie Brown, the one just walking around with the cloud of rain all over him all the time, right? Like, you want that? No, be you, all of you. So, Michelle, how do you naturally answer that question? Auntie Shaky, how do you naturally answer that question? Ronette, how do you answer that question? Oh, Ronette, if everybody complimented you on what you did, hey, thank you so much for the way you spoke to the teachers, or the way you came up on the stage and rocked the mic, or the way you publicized our stuff, or the way that you did this. How do you answer that question just the same way when someone asks you your name? It's the same confidence. It's the same awareness. It's the same, no, it's not hyperbolic. You're not asking for a parade. Oh, I'm Auntie Shaky, boom. And now there's glitter all in the air and everything like that. It's not necessarily that, but there's a confidence. There is just, you answer because there's no other answer. But Shake, there's no other answer, but what am I going to tell you, right? So you know who you are. It's like, hey man, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I'm glad you guys like, and they're like, yeah. So that's what it is. So if popping your thing in general or in that moment, be you. That's all you have to offer. And that's the only time you win is when you're you. The only time you lose is when you're not, right? So everybody has to be themselves and be it, own it. There's nothing wrong with us. We just aren't us most of the time. We're what everybody wants us to be, whatever we think we should be, what everyone told us to be. We're always somebody else. We're never present, and we're never us. We're always in the past, in the future, and we're never us and someone else. We're in the past, the present, we're in the past, the future, and someone else. We're never present us. And then when we happen to be, or when we have no other choice to be present us, then we think that's insufficient or deficient, or it's not enough. Or why? Well, because you don't practice it. You don't know yourself. You don't spend any time with yourself. How are you ever going to feel any confidence in that thing, right? So yes, so whatever it is, if popping your thing is popping your thing, pop it like it's New Year's, boop, like it's champagne, boop, pop it, right? Whatever you do. Marco, yeah, you came on screen, I saw you now. Yes, sir. Come on to the front of the congregation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir.
How
All
everybody
right.
doing today?
Let's man. So let's hear it. Let's talk about it. What's been going on since our conversation?
Man, I'm just being me.
Mhm.
I am him.
Mhm.
You know, I'm so grateful just being a part of this community because it's allowed me to actually embrace me. You know what I'm saying? Just be, you know, for so many years, like you said, we try to be somebody else, or we try to put on this mask and step out in that. And then when we got to be ourselves, we ain't comfortable, right? So, you know, it's just time for me to be comfortable being Marco, man. 'Cause I am who I am.
Yeah.
And I'm wonderfully made, and I'm meant to be here to impress and help someone. So if I can impress upon someone from what I'm learning, that's what I'm gonna do my way, you know. So, man, I'm just so grateful for the nuggets and the gems and the fire that you guys are dropping and sharing, man. It's been really helping me. Uh, as Shaky been sharing her points, and Walter and the young lady, Ronetta, you know, so many things that come across my mind that I'm like, man, you know, I felt that too. I understand that, you know, from that same perspective. So it's just like, for example, you know, stuff that happened to me on a regular, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of you guys was talking about when, like the young lady was just saying, somebody give you a compliment, you try kind of downplay it. But when a lot of people come in, they say, "What's up, big money?" I said, "Thank you." You know, I embrace it, you know, because when you are being him or you are being her and you walking that I am, and you know that God can do all things. So when certain things happen, don't even question it. So I think a lot of times, to go to the young lady Michelle point, you just questioning why they giving you that compliment, why they giving you that. Don't even question it. Accept it, embrace it, because you're on a path. And when you're on a certain path, you know certain things gonna flow your way, even when you're not even expecting it or aware of it. So I'm lucky to be here. I'm lucky to be in this group right here, man. So thanks. And I'm looking forward to continue to work with you and for you to just help develop me to the marker that you know I can be. And the area that's one of y'all know I can be.
Mhm. Man, I would tell you, you sound like a new creature. Like like a new, like, just look at his face. Like, that's what happens when you figure it out. You know, it doesn't mean it's like Veronica always says, it's not an end to it, right? But if you feel like that in a couple of days, imagine what you'll feel like by the end of this month, by the end of July, by Christmas. Imagine what you'll be doing. Imagine who you'll be, like, as far as what you will be popping off as, what you will be exuding, emanating, right? Like, that is being the salt of the earth, the candle lights of the whole house, and the house and the cannot be hid. When you are being you, there is nothing bigger, better, and greater. And just the expression on your face, just the light in your face, and the way you just spoke, like, that's how you sound when you meet yourself. Hey, it's nice. Hey, who are you? I'm Marco. Nice to meet you. I'm Marco. It's nice to meet me. It's nice to actually meet me. Yeah, it's nice, right? You feel like, damn, this is actually all right. Where have I been? You know what I mean? Like, it's nice. Rental cars are cool, but after a while, you want your own car back. You know what I mean? You don't want to keep learning about, like, like, oh, this is nice, but let me get my own car back because I can do what I want in my car. Right? I can roll the window down, play the window loud. I can do whatever I want to do. It's my own thing out here. And just, man, you sound like a new creature. No, like, you sound like it. You look like it, right? And that's awesome. Hell yeah, that's awesome. Yes, sir. That's it. That is it. Yes. All right. Who else we got?
Y'all need to take advantage because Lucky usually talks these entire sessions.
You better get it because next week I'm back and all.
So take advantage because this is a slight session that mirrors what the youth circle is, where we are a little bit more involved and we're actually having conversations versus Lucky talking to us. So I just want to say take advantage.
And he
and-
taking it easy too.
Right.
He nice tonight.
I mean, my
Right?
best behavior.
Right? No, he didn't. So take advantage, y'all. Take advantage because
Everybody, anybody.
I have one more thing.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm visualizing my life how I want it. And it sort of goes back to what Michelle, the other Michelle, I think her name is Tally, when she was talking about how she manifests different things, but in one area. So that's what I was thinking of what kind of grandson I wanted, what I wanted. And then I was thinking, I'm concentrating on him a little bit too much now. I was just like, but I had these other things that I want to see manifested in my life and how I walk in it. So I'm just trying to work on overall, generally, that divine favor over my life. This is what I want to see. This is what I want my life to be. This is what's going to direct my path, is me thinking overall. Yes, I'm going to think about specifics because that's what I'm doing, but overall, this is who I want to be, how I want to be, why I want to be. So that's another thing that I'm thinking, because everywhere I go, it's something different. It's a different part of me being present, and I just don't want to compartmentalize everything. This is who I am. This is what you get. This is why you get it. So I guess there's more being mindful also of, because I know the other day I walked in to help my mother in the morning before I went to work. I didn't even think about it. I just went in there and I knew, I know, generally you don't know what you're going to walk into with this lady in the morning. So I have to stop before I go, and I didn't do that. And so then I immediately got upset. And then I had to stop and pause and say, okay, this is what you got to do. Because of who I am and want to be, this is how I have to make it happen. Not, I know that how thing, but this is what I want to present. This is who I want to present. And I didn't stop and think. So now I'm trying to be wherever I go, wherever I am overall. And so I'm working on that. I'm working on that.
Perfect. Alexis. So what Ronette is speaking to, right? What do we call that?
Total congruence.
All right, explain to her.
Total congruence is being yourself everywhere. Like being I am everywhere. Coach Lucky, I'm not. I don't have more to say.
Okay.
you can, yeah. So total congruence is basically being quote unquote a winner, no matter where in life it is. So I'm an amazing partner. I'm an amazing mother. I'm an amazing entrepreneur. And it not being, oh, I have a great relationship, but I'm broke. Oh, I have this, but that. Nah, like across the board, no matter what aspect in my life, I am, which is what Alexis is saying.
That's what I mean by total congruence. It's like, you find, you have like, okay, I remember Alexis telling me I'm a great teacher. So we started using well, if you can see yourself as great in this area, now we're going to take that greatness and apply it to other areas. We're going to raise every other area of your life to that standard. for you to think of yourself as great in every area of your life. So it's like almost like a blanket. It's just like a standard of living. You raise your complete standard of living. There are no peaks and valleys. It's just steady. And when you see yourself rise in another area to another level, then you take all those other areas and you raise them up with it. So now everybody get up. Everybody's up here now, right? And it's just total congruence, like Alexa said. It is I am her all the way down the line, all the way up and down the line, period, right? So it is just a standard of awareness that you apply to every area of your life. There is no I am and then I am not. I can here, but I can't there. I can afford it today, but I can't afford it tomorrow. That's like saying I can read today, but it's Thursday. I don't really read well on Thursdays. Or it's like, well, can you read or not? Right? You either are or you're not. Right? You either, that's it. So raising the standard of your expectation to the highest level of awareness that you can possibly master and muster right now. Right? What is the greatest part of yourself that you can point to and say, okay, well, if I'm great in this, then that means I have that capacity to display that ability, that level of excellence in every area of my life. So now that is my attention and my intention. I am that great in everything. Right? And that is, like Veronica said, that is how you deal with every area of your life. Right? It's just an overall, overarching, steady standard. There is no I am today, I'm not tomorrow. Well, this I am, but that I'm not. No, I just am. Everywhere I go, I'm her. Everywhere I go, I am that I am. And there is no other. So I am that and there is no other. That means it's victory only, victory always. Everywhere. In my money, in my health, in my relationships, in my business, in me getting to work, in a parking space, and find something on sale, and finding something I want, and eating the right, like it is victory only, victory always. There is no separation. There is no I am up and I'm down, I am left and I'm right. No, I am just period. I'm up, down, left, right, all of it at the same time. So there is no separation between any of it, right? That is total congruence. It is establishing just a standard, a lifestyle, an expectation lifestyle in your mind of this is who I am, therefore this is how it goes, period. Does that make sense, Ronette?
Yeah, you know how I know that's true? Because that's all I can see right now. That's all I can see. It doesn't make sense to be, like you said, peaks and valleys. Doesn't make sense. That's all I can see is wherever I go, whatever I do, that's it. So, yeah, thank you for that.
Wonderful. Great question. Great question. All right. Who else we got? Yes.
Okay, since we here, because you know I'm always gonna take advantage. But so so one of the confessions that I always say is that I am viral. I got that from you, that I am viral, right? So right now I have I haven't posted in a while on Instagram, but I just made a post a little while ago, and it's going viral. I'm laughing because a lot of the things that we choose in our life is not going to make sense to other people. It's just not going to make sense to other people. And we have to be okay with that. I've never been a person that's been, I've never been that person that, you know, if the crowd is going this way, I'm going this way. I'm usually, if the crowd is going this way, I'm going the other way. It's a trap. And so that's how I feel. But if you have the same mindset as everybody else, and everybody else is living a life that you don't necessarily want, like to Vero's point, you got a great relationship, but you have no money, or you got a lot of money and you have a horrible relationship. You know, I need that total congruency. And even though the experts say that there is no such thing as balance, they always say there's no such thing as balance. I used to say that there's no such thing as balance. I asked Walter, I said, give me 3 years to build this business. That's what I said. Give me 3 years to build this business. Why? Why couldn't I build the business with us still being happily married like this, and we still have our date nights and stuff like that, and he still be number one in my life versus being number 3 in my life. Why can't I have it all? God has it all. I am has it all. The person that I am not, though, does not have it all. So some of the things that I might say, especially now that, I am an influencer, I am a person that will be speaking and will be on display of exactly what I am is capable of. It's going to be, what does the word say? Something confounds the wise. I need y'all Bible scholars right now.
The wisdom of God. The wisdom of God confuses the word. The word.
The foolish things.
Yes.
The foolish things. What's the whole thing?
Go ahead, Walter.
Oh, the foolish things confound the wisdom of the wise, the wisdom of this world. He'll use the foolish things to confound the wise.
Okay, use the foolish things to confound the wise. And right now, there's some things that seem foolish to people. Oh, they're so wise. They know everything. And what my little simple self, as they see, my little simple self, because I have a certain expectation. So y'all know in the group that my tank is on E right now. I have 0. I have 0 miles to the gallon. Okay, 0 miles to the gallon. I made a post about that. I am being ripped to shreds in the comments. Like, but it doesn't matter. Y'all, that is my standard. That is what I've put out there, that my husband pumps my gas. It may be simple to you. You know what I'm saying? It may be simple in thought or whatever, but it's something that I'm going to do. And so it's something that I am. That's something that I have created. That's something that we have created in our marriage and stuff like that. So I'm only saying that to say that, y'all, we can't care about what other people think, because they are going to be completely confused about a lot of things that we do. A lot of things that we do. Because this life that I have designed, this life that I got going on up here, it's a whole lot of folks that's going to be like, how the hell? That's all I got to say.
Mm-hmm. What if God said what we said? So God made the heavens and the earth, and God, let's just say, took a rest. And he's like, hey, God, my leg is hurting. Man, I just made the heavens and the earth. I'm on vacation for 2 weeks. I ain't got time. I'm tired. I gave you that, so I ain't got time to heal you. So just deal with the world. Meaning, I'm a millionaire in my business, but I don't have time for my wife or my kids or my husband. Or, you know what? I did this, but I ain't got time for that. Or I made this, but now I don't have that. It is, like I always say, humanity will convince you to rob Peter to pay Paul, and your divinity knows that I'm Peter and Paul. So why would I try to rob myself? Why am I sacrificing one aspect of myself for the other? Right? That's not the way this goes. But when we start talking like we don't know who we are, we start selling ourselves all manner of foolishness. Right? Right? It's like, you know what? I got a 7-figure business. Like I told you guys before, I've literally been with a person who supported their whole house. They're a professional athlete. They walked in, they got a 15, 16,000 square foot home. I walked in with them. We walked past the housekeeper, 2 housekeepers, walked past one of his kids. Another one was in the kitchen. Wife just happened to be coming down the steps. We walked in, and do you know how many people spoke to that person, to that man? No one. 0. Not one of them broke stride, turned their neck. They didn't even give him enough attention to roll their eyes. And he's the only one working. But he has sacrificed his house for the world, because he's out there in the world doing stuff. And so he's out of town even when he's in town. And so now when you come in, you expect everybody so it's the same thing. It's like, humanity will get you to think that you have to, in order to reach this thing, you have to sacrifice that thing. All you're doing is Monte Carloing your whole life. You're just shuffling your health with your money and your relationships, and you up here just doing like this with it, right? You don't realize everybody's living in Vegas. Everybody's just gambling. It's the blackjack roulette table for everybody, just hoping to come up big, hoping to make it, right? But that is what Ronette was talking about. That is what all of us are talking about in one way or another. It is like, okay, what do I want my life to be overall? What do I want my life to be in different areas of it as it comes to my mind? How do I want to define and describe myself in that area of life, individually and holistically? What do I want? But to Walter's point at the very beginning, your brain will get you into some stuff thinking, well, oh, don't worry about it. You know, you providing, so you ain't got to come home. You ain't got to be nice. Or, you know what, you're in a bad mood today, so everybody just supposed to, they're all right. They'll understand. You can just say whatever you want to say to them, right? Or, you know what, it's your business. You can open it up whenever you want to. It says 10 o'clock, but you can show up at 10:12 with an attitude, and nobody can say anything until you open up. Like, we start literally, your brain will convince you of all kind of things and will put you in some situations that you have no way out of, that is not going to help you out of, right? So it is important that we realize that we're using our I amness, our awareness, because our awareness says obedience is better than sacrifice. Our awareness says he that's willing and obedient, the mind that's willing and obedient will eat the good of the land. We don't have to give up one thing for another. You don't have to give up money for your health, or health for your business, or business for your health. You don't have to give up anything to get, right? So it's important to really have an understanding of that. Yes, Alexis.
One thing that I've learned to do pretty well is I'm very aware when I say something that I don't want. And so I'll correct it. Or if I'm thinking something that I don't want to think, I'll be like, so like sometimes money will like come up for me and I'll be like feeling like, dang, that was expensive. And I just be like, thank God I'm rich. And something recently happened in terms of like my new job. And I'm like, but like, I don't know. I just have evidence that even when I don't do things the way other people do things, it always works out for me. So when something in that brain just tries to say something against what I know, I'll just like correct it. Just gently correct it, no big deal. So I want to share that.
Perfect. Two things. Ronette, when we talked about total congruency, blanket statements. You get a big blanket, so it covers your feet all the way up to your head. You can put it up as high as you want to. Blanket statements. Everything is always working out for me. All the world means me well and treats me kindly. Everyone is a link in the chain to my good. Everything I set my hand to prospers, right? I have the victory in all things. I'm an owner, not an ower. I'm a lender, not a borrower. I'm on top and not the bottom. I'm a head, not the tail. I have the victory in all things, right? Like, you literally, you can decide your persona, your character. You can decide how you move in this world, right? Kind of like you started hearing Marco, like talking that talk, like, this is just what it is. Because I'm him, this is my expectations as a result of me knowing who I am. You just start to talk different. It's just what it is, right? So blanket statements, just general things that you speak over yourself, kind of like Alexia said, everything is always working, right? You have the courage to be you. You trust you because you are all you are. You are all that is. And so being true to thyself, knowing thyself, you get to have this experience your way, right? And what we do here is consciously choose what that is, right? I'm going to give somebody a homework. Yep, I'm going to give everybody homework. So everybody here, I know if I do, I know most of you do, because I'm really not the big computer dude. But everybody here knows how to use ChatGPT, right? All right. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to, you guys I'm just kind of paraphrasing it, throwing out there. You guys make it your own sauce. Just get the spirit of what I'm saying. I want you to create your character almost like it's a video game. I want you to create yourself. So Michelle, who is Michelle? Michelle is this, Michelle is that, Michelle is this, right? I want you to name the attributes of Michelle. I mean, like you're creating a character, because Michelle is a character. She's a person, a persona, a mask, a character. Michelle is a character. But I want you to create Michelle. I want you to create all the aspects that Michelle is made up of. I want you to create that character, not as who you are right now, but I mean your ideal self, right? This is how money, like my money is this, I'm that, whatever. I want you to create your character, right? Of all the attributes and all the attributes you are. Then I want you to, when you have that, I want you to put in, these are all my things. These are all my things. Now, I'm doing it this way so that you can make it your own, but I'm saying it this way. Create that character. Then I want you to put in there like, and how would Neville Goddard see it? How would Joseph Murphy see it? How would Florence Scovel Shinn see it? How would I want you, so that people who think like you, how would they define and describe themselves? What would they say to themselves every day? How would they how would they go out and move into the world? And so when you're getting those answers back from ChatGPT, what you're doing, then you refine it again. Then when it says, well, what do you want to know more about that? Or you take some of the answers and you say, oh, this answer, I want you to expound on that. How does that work for me? How does that character move in this? How does it answer a question? How does it see itself? How does it wake up? What would it say to itself if this is who I would be? What would be my wake up affirmations, so to speak? But it's almost like you getting to have I think Marco and I talked about this. It's almost like you getting to have a free and a safe conversation, because you're only talking to something that's not going to tell anybody, right? So you get to say like, how would if I'm Michelle and I am the this and I am that and I'm this and I'm that, right? What would I be saying to myself? What would I be saying to myself if I felt like I couldn't pay a bill? What would I be saying to myself? Like, if I believe I am this thing, how would I be living my life? What would I be telling myself? What would my beliefs be in this state of mind? And then it gives you answers. And then you say, okay, then you refine that. You refine it down until you find that thing that resonates with you, so that you kind of have a working model that you can see objectively. You are what you are. It's not about this, but it gives you a chance to really talk out and talk through your stuff, right? So that you really get to be like, okay, this is who I want to be. This is how I want things to go. This is how I want this character to be. This is what I want them to look like, feel like, act like, sound like. Okay, and because they're this, how do they deal with money? What do they say about it? When they're spending money, how do they do it? When they feel like there's a bill they can't pay, do they feel like that? Or if they do, what do they say to keep themselves on track? Like, you get a chance to really talk out your stuff, right? And really refine it until you really see who the Michelle is objectively that's in your heart. It's almost like brainstorming. You get to just spit it out and you perfect it as it goes along. You distill it almost. You start with this water and you just distill it. You put it through all the filtration until you whittle it down to be like, that's it. And it's only you, it's just for you, so you'll know when that's it. And you are that thing, but it just gives you a chance it gives you something to see. You get to go through the process of talking it out. Yeah, but sometimes I feel like, and you put that in there. And so you get to go through all of your stuff, get it all out, and then create your character of, this is who I want to be in my heart. And because I'm this person, how do I deal with this? How does this version of me deal with that? What do I say to myself when I wake up? What do I say to myself when I go to sleep? And you're just getting ideas and feedback that you get to vibe with or refine until you vibe with it, right? And it'll give you a chance to really work out your awareness of being. You get to work yourself out real good, right? And I have done it. I do it, but a lot of times I'll do it like every day almost. But it's just nice to it's nice to be able to say, hey, I believe on this, but I'm feeling like this. How would the me I believe myself to be deal with this thing? What would I say to myself? How would I think? And so it'll give you some things like, oh, that's good. Yeah, but if I'm still thinking like this, what about that? And it'll give you something else. And so it just gives you an opportunity for it to give you responses that you get to consciously choose or tweak, so that you refine it and define it so that you get it to perfectly being the you that you want to be, that you are choosing to be, right? I have done that. I do it all the time. And I just find it so helpful. I find it helpful for me, right? So everybody, do that and, and see what you come up with, see what you think. I've done it. I mean, I've looked up, it's been 2 hours. Ask myself another question, like, what is that? Well, then okay, I want you to explain this. Oh, that's good. I want you to tell me more about that. Oh, okay. So, and it's like, I literally get to kind of go back and forth and up and down until I squeeze it all out and get it into a thing where it's like, yeah, that's it. That's it. Now I feel that. Yeah, it's like a new sport. You get to just, do your thing with it. So I think you guys will find a lot of good that comes out of that because you'll feel safe. You're only talking to you, and you'll really get to talk about things you feel in your heart that you don't have to explain to anybody, justify to anybody, but you get to get them out and you get to get feedback, and then it'll really help you figure out if that's really what you think, if that's really how you feel, if that's really what you want, or if there's another way to go about it. I have found that, and like I said, it's not just a one-time thing. I do it all the time, but for me, it's just like an exercise that I get to do, and I found it tremendously helpful.
Coach Lucky, I was going to say that I've done this so many times also, quite often, like you almost every day. And I recommend that people do this on Claude, because one time I asked Claude about something about this, like about, life, how should I be thinking about this and, all of this. And Claude said to me, I want you to think. It said, I'm just a mirror, not the author.
Mhm.
I said, whoa. So Claude was letting me know that I'm not going to come up with this answer for you. I want you to type out some things. I'll come back and I'll massage it through. But anyway, but I'm looking for this. I have a prompt similar to what you just said, and so I'm looking for it. So
yeah, and I just say ChatGPT because I'm not really on this stuff, so I don't really know that much. That's all I knew. It's like saying Nike. It's like the most famous one, right? It ain't only right. It's kind of like that. But yes, absolutely. So yes, doing that. And so yeah, you guys see what you come up with, but that's exactly right. ChatGPT, artificial intelligence is what you use to support what you think. It's not designed to think for you. And most people are making that mistake, and they're going to find out in about 10 years that they've lost their ability to generate thought because they just ask a question and wait for it to be responded, and they stop generating their own thoughts, right? It's not designed to think for you. All the businesses, that's why most people fail in business too, is because they think they're gonna walk into a business that's already ready made, or they're gonna walk into a process that's already ready made. And really what they're looking for is to stay the same while something else is gonna make them successful on autopilot without their participation. And it doesn't work like that. Because even if you have your own business, whatever processes you have and whatever things you have, sooner or later, people are going to meet you because you're the business owner. They're going to come to you at some point. They're going to get to you. And if you can't handle your water or hold your water, Claude needs electricity. And if you ain't got none, Claude is dead, right? So it is designed to support what you think. It's designed to help you, right? But you are the first artificial intelligence. Marco is the first artificial intelligence, meaning it is a non-living thing made living by a living thing. I am is a living thing that makes Marco alive. So don't ever substitute fake AI for the real AI. You are the real AI, so to speak, as far as in human form, right? That is the first AI, right? I am looking through the eyes of Marco is virtual reality, right? So don't ever substitute the fake AI for the real AI, which is Marco, which is Michelle, meaning I am is the intelligence operating through this thing that it created, a body, right? With an identity attached to it, right? So don't ever substitute who you are, your true awareness, true intelligence, not artificial. You are true intelligence, right? And you use artificial to help support your intelligence, not to substitute it, not to swap it out so that you stop thinking on your own and stop being a self-generating awareness, right? Don't, because you'll end up in 10 years messed up, and you'll see people will end up being messed up over it. But that's a whole nother thing. So, all right, well, it's after 5 or after 8 most of your time. So I want to thank you all for coming. Anybody have anything they want to say before we go? Questions, comments, anything else?
Coach, thank you for this call. Vero, thank you for this call. Everybody who shared today, Auntie Shaky, Marco, Michelle, Alexis, Ronette, all of y'all, Walter, everybody who shared, Justin, thank y'all. This was really, really helpful. My brain is just going like, I don't have to live with epilepsy. I do not have to live with epilepsy. I don't know how the hell I chose to live with epilepsy, but guess what? That don't matter. I'm not finna keep living with epilepsy. This ish has to stop. Well, this ish is over. Like it's done. I'm free of this. So thank y'all for the inspiration. It was very, 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 very appreciated.
Thank you for coming. Thank you always for coming. It's always good to see you. Always good to hear your voice. And I'm glad that you're choosing who you want to be. And that's always good to hear your voice. And definitely tell the kids we said hello.
I will.
You rooting for the Knicks, coach?
Huh? Anybody have anything else to say?
I wanted to say something if I can. I just wanted to share that I've been implementing something that you said last week. You always say like, well, not always because this is only my second call or so, but you say you were saying if I'm selling it, people are buying it. So I'm getting ready for this. I do real estate, but I also
Wait, hold on a second, back up. Who is this?
Tamika.
Okay. All right, yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
So I do real estate, but I also have a hair product line that I started with my daughter a couple of months ago, and so we're doing our first major event tomorrow. And everybody keeps saying, "Oh, I hope people buy. I hope you sell." And I just hear you always, and I've been saying all week, if I'm selling it, they're gonna buy it. I'm not attached to the outcome, and even if they don't buy tomorrow, I still have the products for when people do ask me or stop me in the streets about our hair or whatever. I have the products on hand at this point because I'm getting ready for this event. So I do appreciate you saying that last week, and I just wanted to say that I am implementing that thought of whatever I'm selling, whether it's real estate, hair products, the shoes off my feet, like whatever I'm selling, they're buying. And that's it. I'm just proud of myself for actually implementing and not just hearing the information.
Be a doer of the word, not a hearer only, right? Deceiving yourself. So if you are a doer, then you're not deceiving yourself. And that means you're telling the truth. If you're telling the truth, that means you're free. And whatever area or expression of freedom is relevant, which is in this case, you selling your stuff the way you want, then that's the way it is. So let me ask you a question, right? You're selling your stuff, you're going selling your stuff somewhere tomorrow, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. How did it go?
I was going wonderful. It's great.
How did
it go? It went wonderful. It went great. All is well.
Right? So there is no time to I am. I am is omnipresent. So just like you say, I'm going to the store, in consciousness, you can say the same thing. I went to the store because there is no time and God is everywhere at all times, right? So it is 5:12 my time. So where is it? What time is it where you are?
8:15.
So eight something, 3 hours. So what time is it?
It's 12 and 15.
Right? So to you, but to me, it's this, right?
Yeah.
We're talking to each other at the same time because there is no time. So you can say how it's going to go, but you can also say how it already went because it's the same thing.
Gotcha.
Right? So you can say, oh, it went great. Shoot, I sold everything. I barely got the stuff unpacked before people took it out. Right? I can't keep my stuff on the shelf. I can't keep my stuff in the boxes. I can't even, by the time, it's a waste of time for me to set up. I don't even have to set up. All I gotta do is basically roll out, unlock the back, pull the boxes out, and they sell it. And I just roll the boxes back in, close the trunk, and I'm gone. Right? Like how it is, how it's going to go, and how it went are all the same thing.
Love it. Thank you.
So perfect. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else?
All right.
All right. Wonderful.
Well, thank you everyone for coming. We appreciate you all being flexible today, and coming at a different time than our usual. Everyone's definitely welcome to check out the U Circle, where we do the way we did things today. It kind of reflected a little more. And it's really cool because we get to kind of see ourselves in everyone else and vice versa. and it really, really, really does help in the speed of our shift and maintaining it, because this is a lifestyle. There is no destination when it comes down to mindset and knowing who you are. There's always the more you learn, the more you know you don't know, if that makes sense. The more you know that you don't really know much. So having a group like the youth circle really gives us the platform to keep these conversations going, kind of like just check in, tap in. It's when it's Tuesday. When it's Tuesday, we're not out here on our own. We have each other. When it's Friday, we're not out here on our own. We have each other. And then you get, your one-on-one with Coach Lucky, which is gold, because it's a session that's truly focused on just you. So that when we actually do come together in the circle, it even kind of sprinkles the one-on-ones through, because we kind of get to talk about different topics that we've talked about with Coach Lucky, with one another, and it might inspire us, spark a thought, all the things. So saying all that to say, it's a good place to be, and you guys are all invited to slide through. And yeah, we're back at our regularly scheduled program next Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I had to do some time zone translations in the moment. Sorry about that. I was like, wait, what time is it? And yeah, that's it.
Yes. Well, thank you again, everybody, for coming. Thanks for all the questions. We're back next week at our normal regular time. So go ahead, enjoy the rest of your evening. Get out there, be the salt of the earth, the candle lights of the whole house, and the house on the hill that cannot be hid. Be you. Be you.